Hello, welcome to the Aberystwyth Business School A-Level Business Lecture Series. We're going to talk today about pricing. It's part of the marketing mix, the product, price, place and promotion. And I'm Dr. Julie Abbott. I'm part of the marketing lecturing team here at Aberystwyth University. So today we're going to have a look at the terms and approaches around pricing and a couple of the different pricing strategies that companies will put into place. And in order to do that, we need to understand what cost bases are in business. So if we have a look first of all at some dictionary definitions around price, which is the amount of money that we are expected, required or given in payment for something. It's something expended or endured in order to achieve an objective. So what that's telling us is the price of something is not always monetary. Okay, so if we live a long way from a shop, for example, and we have to go out and buy a bottle of milk, it's by the time we get to the shop and come back, the price that we've extended is not just the price of the milk, it's also the time that we've taken to go to the shop. It's the things that we've given up in order to go and do that. It's the cost of fuel to go and do that, and so on and so forth. So we have to think about the full price, that is not just money. Quality is the standard of something measured against other things of a similar kind. Okay, so we have to measure against something else. It's not just a standalone thing. Value. This is the really important thing here within business and marketing. So value is the regard that something is held to deserve. It's its importance or worth. It's the material or monetary worth. The worth of something compared to its price. So for example, at £12.50, the book is good value. So these are some dictionary definitions here. So for price, it's the amount the customer has to pay or exchange to receive a good or a service. And again, that can not always just be monetary. It might be the effort they have to put in as well. The value is what we get for what we pay. And quality are the standards to which a product or service performs as a need satisfier. Okay, so we have needs as markets, as customers, consumers, we have needs, and we measure the quality against whether it satisfies our needs. Are we just happy with it, or are we really, really delighted? So within a business, we have different sets of costs, and we have to understand our cost base before we can start understanding what we can charge for our goods and services. So the first area of cost are fixed costs. And this is money or expenditure that we have to pay regardless of what we produce. So these are things like capital equipment, the factories themselves, and it's things that are absolutely fixed in the short term. They cannot be changed. And again, as I said, they're independent of what we produce. So even if we didn't produce anything, we would still have these fixed costs. And these start to become the foundation for our pricing strategies. On top of that, we have variable costs. So these are the costs that are incurred for the production of products. So it's labour, it's all the materials that come in, and these are variable because they are increased or decreased dependent on what we're producing. And so these will vary with the level of output. And again, this is within the short term. We're looking at sort of tactical short-term levels. So if we didn't produce anything, we wouldn't have any variable costs. So here are some examples of fixed and variable costs. So the fixed costs are the plant and equipment, the office buildings, any capital equipment such as cars and vehicles that we put in, salaries for our employees, and any professional service fees where we've taken people on and they have a fixed contract with us. So the variable costs then will be things about servicing our equipment, costs of energy to heat and light buildings, mileage allowances for the cars, overtime payments, bonus payments for staff, and again other professional services fees for short-term areas such as regulations in pharmaceuticals. So our pricing approaches, again, those differ a lot. So originally we used to have a cost-based approach. So we would build bottom up based on our fixed costs and our variable costs. So we would understand what the actual component price would be for each product that we produced, and add on, so we'd have that as the base, we'd add on a proportion of fixed costs and then add on a little bit for profit. And so that would be our cost-based approach. We also have competition-based approaches. So, our cost-based approach might come in and we are very much cheaper than the competition. So the going rate is actually much higher than what we think of our base costs, if you like. So we would price at the going rate for the product category that we are in. We then have a value-based approach, and that is based on the buyer's perception of the value. So it might be that Coca-Cola can price higher than Pepsi or Sprite or something else that out there that is in the same category, because people prefer the taste of Coca-Cola and are happy to pay a premium for having it. This is the sort of thing that we will be testing, and other universities as well, within our entrance exam. So if you were interested in coming to Aberystwyth and you wanted to get an unconditional or reduced offer, come and take our entrance exam, and these are the sorts of questions that we will be asking. When we're looking at other pricing policies, we have list pricing. And this again is sort of an old-fashioned way of pricing where you get a single price set for a product or service. And if you have catalogues, particularly in the business-to-business environment, you can start to see a whole list of different components, different products that you would want to buy. We have loss leaders, and this happens a lot in the retail industry, where you set a price at a lower level than the cost to produce in order to get people coming to buy not only that, but other products within the same category that you are offering. And those will have higher profit levels and end up taking away the fact that you're making a loss on this particular price, a particular product. So it's there to encourage new customers to come in and buy other areas within your portfolio. And if you've got a mixed portfolio, such as within in banks, so your current account actually doesn't cost you anything, but it costs the bank to service your current account. As soon as you start buying insurances, mortgages, having deposits accounts and so on and so forth, that's when that cost to serve you with your current account gets reduced or taken away completely, because they're making money out of the other areas within their product portfolio. So that loss leader to recruit you to get a current account is removed. Promotional pricing is there, where we reduce prices just for a short time below the standard price to get people to have awareness of that product, to encourage them to try it and use it and just raise the whole brand awareness. The issues with promotional pricing is that we've all got used to them. We go into supermarkets and we see the buy one get one free. We see all this promotional pricing, and often the products are left at the promotional price for so long, or they keep coming and going at the promotional prices, that we as consumers don't want to pay the normal price for them anymore. They've almost reset their prices down to the promotional price because they haven't kept the sales promotions on for a short enough time, if you like. They've increased the time too long to do that. So there are some issues with pricing that we really need to think about and strategize and get right before we implement these different pricing policies. Segmentation pricing is, again, an interesting one in that if we have a company that has a different set of customer segments for a category, so for example Unilever's ice cream, they have a category of ice cream, but they have a lot of different products within it. So they have a really top premium ice cream which is branded Ben & Jerry's and available in small packs, typically only, to economy ice creams where they would have large packs aimed at families in the supermarket freezer cabinets. And this is sort of different segments of their consumer base aiming at different products, and therefore the prices are aimed at these different segments. So the Ben & Jerry's aimed as a top quality premium product would have a much higher price than the economy offerings that are out there in supermarkets. We also have customer-centric pricing, and this is when we look at the value that people have, so the customer perceived value for a set of products and services. And this is often seen in the mobile world, the digital world today, television, Netflix, film streaming, or other digital services, where we as the company would create a unique bundle that's tailored specifically for a fairly small customer set and segment, and therefore we can price according to the needs of that customer and the value that customer or set of customers will be getting from our products. And often these can be priced quite high or conversely quite low, dependent on what value is perceived from this. So when we bring in new products and services in, we have to price them. And often when we start off with a new product that we think is going to really do well and have high profit margins, we will put the price high. And we do that for a number of reasons. One is to recoup our costs for research and development. We might do it if it's a completely new, innovative product where we don't think we're going to have a lot of competitors, certainly to begin with, and we are in a new market segment, and we set the price high because we can always lower it later once we have competition coming in and they've imitated what we've done and we're actually fighting for market space later on. But at the beginning, we want to get as much profit as we possibly can from our new product. Again, to recoup the costs, but also to put money aside so that we can bring out the new versions and always stay ahead of our rivals. It also sets the level of value and quality perception in the customer's mind if we're higher than everybody else's. So think again about Apple in the mobile market. They are typically more highly priced than their rivals, for example, and they stay that way, so they skim the prices. Conversely, we would have market penetration price. So this is where we have a much lower price and we generate sales. And so we want to sell an awful lot of our product and we make small amounts of profit from each one, but actually over time, the more we sell, the more profit we make. And this is used when we have new products that can be easily imitated by our competitors. And the market that we're going into is more likely to be a mass market than a small niche differentiated market. So we set the price early within the product life cycle, and we're trying to do that so that we very quickly get a high market share, and we bring our costs down through economies of scale when we're buying in raw materials, for example, and for packaging and marketing. And it means that later on we will come in and put up our prices high once we've got that market share and match what our competitors are doing within the marketplace. So it's almost the opposite way round to the price skimming policies that we would have. So this short lecture hopefully has enabled you to have a better understanding of some terms and approaches around pricing and some of the strategies that are in place, and understand that the cost bases within business in order to help set prices for new products. So thank you very much for your time.